Sleepyheads! Another week, another episode. This week, Heav and I talk about Best Picture nominee Mortal Kombat, the season finale of Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and episode 2 of HBO's The Nevers. Let's get into it.
Shalom.
Welcome
Shabbat
back
shalom.
to another episode of Bed by Nine. I am one of your hosts, Hev, has a PS5. And
They knew that.
okay,
Come up with something else.
okay, I'll come back to it. I'll think about it. And our other host,
K. Willie.
hey,
I usually just respond to you, so the fact that you failed, I also failed.
here we
That's
go.
how teamwork works.
We're starting off on a
Positive note.
Positive. How was your week, K. Willie?
Week was busy work-wise. Outside of work, it was boring. In the sense that I just watched TV and played video games, so I didn't do much. I played tennis a couple times. And that's about it. Wasn't a very exciting week by any means.
You just were going through the motions, getting through the day.
Yeah, and then I'd log off and play video games for like 6 hours. And
Did you get any new video games? You still just rolling through the old stuff?
well, I have old stuff. I have PS Plus, so they have a whole bunch of free games on there. So I started Final Fantasy.
Yeah, you told me. I couldn't focus.
And I've never played any of the Final Fantasy games, but so far I like it. There's just a lot that they throw at you at the beginning, and you have to figure it out. So yeah, that's the one that I'm playing. Well, I'm playing that, and then also playing.
Horizon Zero Dawn.
No,
You need to play that again.
I've played it once, and
Play it again.
that was fine.
Best game.
The other one was Resident Evil, which I got maybe through the first level, and it freaked me out. So I was just sitting there, and Sada was sitting next to me, and I was just like, I had to give him the controller. I'm like, I feel like if you play and I watch, it's okay. But when I have the controller and I'm making the decisions, I get hot and sweaty, and it uncomfortable.
What about the game made you uncomfortable? Was it just the creatures?
So this guy, more like you enter into this house that no one should ever enter because it hasn't been quote unquote occupied for
Sounds like a scene from Mortal Kombat.
a really long time. And then you open, oh, there's something on the counter. Let me open up this pot. Oh, it's filled with like intestines and this cockroach is crawling out. Like any normal person would just leave. And he doesn't. He continues exploring, and it's like, yeah. And then he comes across a videotape and he puts it in the VCR, so the house still has electricity, so someone must be there. And then the videotape is of people that were also exploring the house a couple years earlier, and then they get murdered, and it shows that, and he's like, oh, I'm gonna go through the same hidden passage that they went through and expect a different outcome. And I'm just
All bad decisions.
all bad decisions.
Where was the turn around and go home option?
Guess what race the main character is?
Definitely not Aristotle and I.
No, yeah, he's white. Fucking and nah.
Did he also have a Golden Girls tank top on?
No, but thank you for being a friend. I love this tank top.
I'm not saying that you
Target.
don't. I'm just telling that it's a 1-to-1 ratio of Golden Girls tank top and race to people who explore houses that shouldn't be until we talk about Mortal Kombat.
There are many people outside of the white race that like Golden Girls.
As soon as you said white race, your arm did this. So
Just involuntarily. I blacked out.
Yeah, definitely did.
I blacked out.
Well, your
How
week
about
was
your
fun.
week? Yeah.
My week was I was numb and mindless most of the week because I was overthinking and frustrated about a lot of things that I shouldn't be.
Numb as in like you hurt your back?
No, I was actually
picking an apple. What activity were we doing this week that fucked up a body part of yours?
So what it was is I was actually selling oranges on the side of the highway, and a breeze hit me too hard.
Naranjas.
Yep, dislocated both my shoulders.
Wow.
No, so
Stiff breeze.
definitely. But speaking of stiff, so No, it was just a bad week. And well, I wouldn't say a bad week. It was just I didn't do enough, and my workouts were lackluster, amongst other things. So I wasn't happy. I did receive the PS5, turned it on, didn't play it for 2 days. Andrew played it. He played Miles Morales. He enjoyed it because it played for a few hours. And then the 2 days went by, and I put in Godfall, and confusing. Talk about another game that throws a lot at you right in the beginning. That does that.
Is that the first in that franchise, or are there multiple games of it?
And it's if you YouTube Godfall, there's really one video that says don't God fall for it or something. I was like, it was something along those lines.
Was that your YouTube video?
I wish.
Yeah.
It was along those lines of why you should not play it. And so far, I've been enjoying it, but I'm getting Anthem vibes, where it's going to be kind of unfinished. And I didn't read any reviews because I kind of wanted to go in blank face. So I'm.
Have you looked at ratings? Like, can I look at it?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead and look at it.
Can I tell you what everyone? Like, I won't read a review. I'll just tell you what the rating is.
Yeah, definitely. But I've enjoyed it so far. It seems interesting, and I'm keep enjoying it.
3.3 out of 5.
Okay. I can.
6 out of 10.
Even better. Keep increasing it. There's a lot of 1 ratings I see there.
Most people don't like it, but they obviously put the good reviews first. But someone said, I actually had a lot of fun with this one, despite the negative reviews.
Yeah, so I think I'm gonna like it.
Okay.
Because
What's the premise?
You get to. You're a creature of some sort. You're trying to stop this person from being a god, and you're collecting stuff, building armor. You have talents, and you're growing.
Gotcha.
So it's also to a thing where it's like you have your home base, and then there's map quest, not map quest, where you see your map and you get to pick your location. You get say like if you complete this, you get such and such resources, and then you have a storyline, and then you have your side missions type thing.
Open world,
not
sort of
so
thing?
to speak.
Okay.
There's ability to roam around, but it's cut off to a point.
Okay.
So yeah, it's good. I have Valhalla coming next week or the week after.
I've heard good things.
Assassin's Creed?
Yeah, but if you don't like Assassin's Creed, then you probably won't like it.
I liked Assassin's Creed, and I remembered the storyline up until a point, but that was like 17 games ago. So I'm looking forward to that.
Assassin's Creed is similar to Uncharted, where it's like in every level you just do the exact same thing. Basically, like you get to a new map, you explore, you have to unlock the city. Well, like it's not like Uncharted in that way, but like every game of Uncharted, you climb the same way.
Yeah.
Once you're done climbing that you're eventually gonna have to fight some people because they're gonna somehow be there before you.
Yeah.
And then after you finish fighting people, then you're gonna climb some more.
Yeah.
And then you're near the end of the level because there's like 3 or 4 puzzles that you have to solve.
So,
and then guess what? That wasn't the end of the treasure map, and then you have to go to a new location and do it all again.
That's my favorite part of Uncharted. It's one of those things like we beat them here, and then all of a sudden you're down there like, oh, we see the equipment from the armies.
You just see them take a helicopter, and you're like, oh, wish we thought of that.
So I just beat Uncharted 4 again.
I just finished playing it.
It's so great. Uncharted 4?
Yeah.
Okay. So I remember every single scene that if I get there and I see the equipment from like Shoreline or whatever it was, I'm like, oh, so there's going to be a fight scene. Yeah, we're going to be a fight
There's things to hide behind here.
Yeah,
So I know it's about to happen.
Yeah. I loved it though. I played it 3 times all the way through now, and I've enjoyed it every single time.
That was my first time playing.
Did you play the other Uncharted?
Yeah.
Okay.
That was my first time playing through 4 though.
Did you at the very end? Did you play
the epilogue?
Yes, with the little girl.
Mm-hmm.
I loved it.
Which is she basically gonna take over the franchise?
Well,
you think is that where they're going with it?
From what I understand, Naughty Dog is no longer making the games. Okay. And they did that one last spin-off with Chloe and another girl it was like a small 20, 30-hour game. Mm-hmm. And they that was under Naughty Dog. But now they're going to make I don't quote me, but I think they're making another one, but Naughty Dog is not involved.
I see.
So I don't know what they.
So they could
doing.
either revamp the storyline or continue where Naughty Dog left off, and maybe it's not going to be Nathan. It's going to be a little bit more of like a
Maybe
Tomb Raider
brother,
sort of thing.
Yeah.
With his daughter.
Yeah. That would be cool. I would like it.
Cool. Great. Yeah, no, I enjoy it. I think I enjoy Uncharted for maybe like the first half, and then I'm like, okay.
I enjoy how
it's a lot of climbing.
I enjoy how they always they just keep rolling out the story though, because it's like I knew what the ending was because I played through it, but to see how it's building up with like pirates and like, oh no, it's one pirate, no, it's several pirates. Where are we going next?
I just remember when his brother got introduced, I'm like, oh, he's lying to him.
Definitely.
I'm like, Nathan Drake is the most trusting person.
You haven't seen him in 15 years. You didn't do one Google search to what he said?
Right.
Bruh. Yeah, no, I'm yep.
The man that knows like everything about everyone, and you didn't realize that the person who he said is trying to kill him is also dead.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. That's fine.
Don't poke loopholes through a great.
Just go to Madagascar, and he's had so many brushes with deaths, and he's survived them all. Good for him.
So so another thing about the game. So in that Uncharted 4, when the wife shows back up in the end, she was like, "You could have died, and I never would have known." And I go back to think all the times that I missed the jumps and he died. What if that was the end of the game and it just showed up? Like, no, you
can
really
only
died.
die once.
Yeah, I'm like, yo,
you have to start all the way over.
Hey, wifey, you stuck.
Well.
Yeah.
Well, enjoy Valhalla.
I will.
I will continue playing Final Fantasy.
I think I'm gonna go back and put in Avengers too. We'll see.
That's a good one. I got maybe like 5% through that game, and then something else came out. So, movies, TV. Flip over to that, guys. You want to know? Want to know how Warner Brothers had a flawless victory this weekend? I didn't prepare ahead.
You didn't. You didn't prepare. You're like most of the Mortal Kombat cast when they were given that script. They also did not prepare.
Okay. So we saw Mortal Kombat.
We did in theaters, not at home like tens of you people.
I saw it both, but yeah.
Fair.
So, okay, let's start with, was there anything you liked in the movie?
Yeah, the beginning and end.
The two fight scenes.
The two fights.
Between Sub-Zero and Scorpion.
Well, it was Sub-Zero and Scorpion at the end.
Right.
And then in the beginning, it was
Bihan,
and Ronin.
Yep.
And those.
That's incorrect, but it's okay.
We know what it is. It starts off so good.
Yeah.
It starts off like, hey, there's going to be some substance in here. We've thought about the story. And then they said, get the Games of Thrones writers from season 8 and let's finish this up.
Yeah.
And then at the end, they gave you some sort of a conclusion in which you needed, and then just gave you more loopholes throughout that. So those are the two things I liked.
Okay.
What about you?
I mean, I liked it in the sense that it brought to life one of my favorite video games.
They've brought that to life 2 times before.
In like, for me, I didn't like the 2 previous movies, so they did the best out of the 3 movies with this one, probably mostly because of CGI
20
and
years difference.
Yeah. But at least it was visually appealing to watch it, and I appreciated how you wouldn't go more than like 15 minutes without a fight scene.
Okay.
Like, you got action throughout the whole movie, and it wasn't like there was like a couple lulls where it was like they had a lot of dialogue before they got in, but like for the most part it was like, hey, we're gonna talk for 5 minutes, and then, oh no, a lizard is crawling through my house, let's fight it. I mean, it's a reptile, but for all intents and purposes, it's a lizard.
Please PC check your names for your animals, please. Look, all I wanted was just a little bit more substance because we've seen some bad movies. We've enjoyed bad movies. But what I was expecting out of everything is at least a tournament. As a minimum as a tournament.
Yeah.
How they they threw that up at the end, that was bad. And it was like, because that's all they talked about.
Yeah, it wasn't a great introduction into what Mortal Kombat was. I mean, Sonya had a wonderful explanation of it. But then, like, the rest of the movie was really about Shang Tsung, like, basically just trying to kill everyone off before the tournament actually began.
Yeah.
So then it was like, oh, so we're not even going to do a tournament. And really all we focused on was Earth and, Outworld, when there's, other realms that we could have touched upon, which there was, like, little cameos and Easter eggs throughout the movie that, like, referenced all the different stuff, but it was like you didn't get any of that in this movie. So I agreed that, like, at least introducing I think to video game people, it was just like, well, we already know what this is, so you don't really have to explain it all that much. But, like, to anyone that went along that had no idea, like a wife to, so, a husband who plays Mortal Kombat, like, I can see them just being like, well, what the fuck was this movie about?
Okay. I'll give you all that. But doesn't it seem like they started off strong? And then
The opening was wonderful, and they established a great, like, kind of plot line between Sub-Zero and Scorpion.
It's like one of those cooking videos where you have someone, or it's like those cooking side-to-side videos where someone's putting together dishes. Like, okay, we're going to make chicken carbonara, chicken spaghetti, whatever, right? They get the chicken, they fry it, they get the spaghetti, they get the sauce, and they're like, oh, we're going to add now? Hot mayo or mustard, and now, what, let's throw some Skittles in there because that's what we need to add into this dish. And then they serve it to you at the end, and then they make amazing garlic bread at the very end. It's like, yeah, you saw the ingredients that we put it together. You like the beginning, the middle, and then the final is bad with the Skittles, right? But it's garnish. You garnish it with the Skittles. And then the garlic bread at the very, very end. So yeah, you like those things, but the whole thing is just, I don't want it.
This analogy was just as confusing as the movie. I have no idea what the fuck you're talking about.
Stato, you get it. He nodded in one direction. It may have been an agreement or not. We're not going to say.
I think he just wants you to wrap it up.
That's fair. No one wraps it up in this house. All right. So overall, I would have to say the movie's entertaining. You're right with the fighting. I enjoyed it. Who had the best fatality?
Kung Lao for me. When he drove, oh god, I can't remember her name, but he had the spin.
Shrike. She shrieked. She shrieked.
Yeah.
She did.
Just sliced her in half from the head, rode her like a skateboard right into it.
And then he said, flawless victory.
Which I loved.
Yeah.
I love that corny shit. You have to throw it in there.
Okay, they had to throw the corny stuff in from the game.
If they would have done a tournament, they could have found a better way to throw it in there, but whatever.
1,000%.
Or like Kano wins. Like, that was hilarious.
Oh god, that was.
I don't know. I appreciated just those little nods to the game.
I liked it and hated it at the same time. I don't know how else to explain it. So I believe my favorite would still when what is it? Liu Kang and the Fire Dragon. Mm-hmm. So I really enjoyed that, even though I did not enjoy him as a character.
Okay.
But Fire Dragon, kill. Okay, you gained a little bit back from the horribleness that you created throughout this whole movie.
I appreciated the gore in it all. So, Jax's fatality was fun when he just, like, smashes General Reiko's head. Mm-hmm. That was a great one. Yeah. I thought I also appreciated just, like, kind of the nods to the different like moves that you can actually do in the games that they, like, threw out there, like Liu Kang's bicycle kick, and then like Scorpio in the initial fight back in, you know, like the 1600s or whatever, when he does the garden spear and then he like pulls him over and then he like clotheslines him. Like that's a enhancement you can do for one of Scorpio's moves in the game. So I was just like, that sort of stuff, like I really appreciated.
That detail is amazing.
Yeah.
And then they ruin it.
Yeah, I think they for sure could have done a better way of introducing just what Mortal Kombat was. Like, I felt like because they weren't following the tournament plot line, they had to have Sonya explain all of her research instead of just showing you what Mortal Kombat was. She just like kind of threw it out there, right? And then was like, okay, now we got that out of the way. Like, let's continue our original storyline, where they could have just done an actual tournament style. And then obviously in the second movie, if you have one, you can go out and you could have done this plot line where it's like, oh, okay, like maybe because the plot line for this movie was Outworld has won 9 times, right? And if they win 10, then they can take over the other realms. Well, maybe this tournament should have been like they've won 8 times, and then they go to this tournament, right? It plays out, Outworld wins again, so now they have 9. Then the sequel could have been, okay, it's the 10th time, and now Shang Tsung wants to just cheat his way into it, and then you could have done a similar plot line to what you did this time, and it would have made more sense.
Right.
So I agree with you there. The plot line wasn't 100% great. I mean, it was probably not even 50% great.
No.
How'd you think? Okay, so we talked about Kano. Did you like his comedic relief as the main?
I think I like 1 out of 5 things that he did.
Okay.
So he definitely was the comedic relief, but it's like that guy trying too hard at every turn to make you laugh.
I guess for me, like, I just felt like his clear inspiration was like Conor McGregor, and I was like, well, this is 100% how this fucker acts, so I'm for it.
So
like,
I was gonna make a Fast and Furious reference, but you haven't seen it. So did you see any of Tyrese clips in Fast and Furious?
I've seen some of the Fast and Furious movies. I know Tyrese more in the musical realm than I do movies.
Tyrese did it to the point in Fast and Furious. You're like, okay, we get it. You're funny. Stop. And then
says something and like looks into the camera.
Yeah. He's just like, I'm black and bald and funny. And then Kano's does the same thing, and you're like, okay, dude, next scene. We get it. You're tough. So there could have been like a little bit. You pull it back a little. Yeah. And then kind of, I want to say pull it back and let the story develop. But to be fair, he was probably one of the best parts in the movie. Yeah. Easily. He was one of the better actors out of everyone that was in it. Because if you hear him talk normally, he doesn't sound like that. No. So that's even better. Gotcha. Yeah. So if you've seen him in, it's not Cards, House of Lies with Don Cheadle and everything like this, he plays a dorky, stuck-up white guy. The one with the glasses? Yeah. That's him? Yeah. Oh. Yeah. Oh, I had no... The one from the very beginning in the first season, too? Yeah, wow, he's in multiple seasons. Well, I know, but I mean, like, from the very beginning. Yeah, that was so it's not... Okay. It's Ben Schwartz, him, and then who's the small girl? Kristen Bell. I was going to say Hannah Montana. No, Veronica Mars. That's the other one. So, and then, that's him. Oh, I had no idea that was him. Yeah, so... good for him. Yeah, so he's probably, the best actor. Yeah. So, okay. So, your favorite character, Kano? Yeah. For sure. Right. I mean, I thought Cole was kind of lame as a character. Understatement. I didn't like his, Hana that he got. Armor. I mean, I think I like Scorpion as a character. Like, everything that he was in was great. My favorite part, though, was at the end when, they defeat Sub-Zero, and then he's like, he like looks at Cole and he's like, thank you, or, says something of the sort, but it's all in Japanese. And then Cole just like stares a little bit and then like walks away. And I'm like, are we just not going to acknowledge the fact that you don't know Japanese? Like, yeah, okay. Yeah, just. If he would have said, huh?
Yeah,
But
like
bro,
that would have been funny.
hilarious. He
Yeah,
would've-
like
but he's not a good.
like that just
actor.
would have been funny.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
but I'm like, you don't know Japanese. Like
You don't.
you didn't have any inclination that you did throughout the movie.
Well,
but-
to be fair, he's had that same glossy look acting throughout the whole movie.
Yeah. No,
In the beginning, a random black guy picks you up that was talking to you earlier, and you just jump into his car, and then the same thing you were running from stops you, and you immediately trust what this man says.
and he's from the south side of Chicago, so add that into the mix.
I hate how they brought that
and
up.
it's like,
You know,
I don't think you would have done this. Like,
you know Chance? You know Chance?
I love my wife.
Why?
Because that's what Chance does.
Ah, okay, that's
Every chance he gets.
That was good. I'm not gonna lie.
Didn't take-
I'm not gonna lie. That was good. All right. So Cole, horrible. My favorite is Sub-Zero.
Okay.
And
He was a good villain for sure.
It's an easy pick, but he was consistent
Mm-hmm.
through the whole thing. He looks like a friend of mine that I actually play basketball with, the Asian guy, and I immediately was like, "You in this movie?" And he was like, "Shut the fuck up!" I was so happy. So he was consistent. He was a bad guy in the beginning. His face conveyed what he was feeling, and that's very important. So, and I'm bringing that up because when we go talk to who's Spin
Raiden?
Kick dude? No, Spin Kick. Bicycle Kick dude.
Liu Kang.
Liu Kang. When we talk about Liu Kang and his face not matching his actions and talking like that, Sub-Zero was just like, I'm gonna look at you soulless and talk soulless. It was perfect, and I enjoyed him through and through. I think his whole being able to teleport ability could have came in hand when he was getting his ass whooped at the end. But who knows? That was just a lapse in writing, maybe. Yeah. I wanted more.
Yeah. Well, so we've kind of alluded to it before, but I had the pleasure of being able to see the movie a few months before it actually got released and kind of give them feedback and everything like that. And it was really interesting to see it in like the unfinished stage because like there was a lot of like Jax in almost every scene. He had like motion capture sleeves on his arms, so it was just like
were they all black or green?
I think it was blue.
Okay.
Maybe it was green. I can't remember, but I mean it had like motion capture balls on it. And so like you didn't get to see what his arms look like in the final cut. And you know, like some of the stuff, like it just had like a green screen behind the characters or whatever. So you couldn't see the end, but like they would ask you like, okay, what'd you think about the plot line? Like, what'd you think about each character? And all that. And I just remember like I remember telling them to like, and it wasn't just me. I'm not saying like they took anything that I said, but like I remember saying like,
you had a private screening in your mansion. I don't know why you're saying that you did.
I mean, there was a lot of people in the theater as well, but
you mean your side?
Yeah.
Your side room? Okay, cool.
and I was just like, you know, like Kano's great. But I was like, you're using it a lot. Like you could dial it back. And it's funny because in the final version, I'm pretty sure they did dial it back a little bit. So like there was a lot. Like every opportunity that he had, I think they kept it in. Like they let him do it. I think the character that I was most like, I didn't mind Liu Kang. Like I could understand what he was trying to do, because like
Didn't mind.
Because like Liu Kang is like a very like. He was raised by Bo Raicho as a monk, so like he's just very formal, and I think that's what he was going for, but it came off very awkward.
Yeah.
I think the character that I didn't like the most was Raiden, because I felt like he was the most different than he actually is in the video games, because
he's not a white man.
He was very aggressive, like. And like just put people down, and I'm like, that's not necessarily like Raiden's like stern, but he's also like kind of like a mentor and a guide to people. So like,
but also gods are mean to people. You're clearly overlooking that. All gods are mean to people.
I believe in the one God.
Okay, and that is
My
Beyonce.
lightsaber. I love Beyonce.
That's what I thought. So the one character I would say that I didn't like overall, I think it's a tie between Liu Kang and Cole. Honestly,
Cole was terrible.
because one, I would have to say Liu Kang with his not being able to act in emotion, he's trying to be a serious monk. He could have just been calm and been a monk.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Cole was frustrating on a whole new level since he was technically the main character, and he blindly trusts people. Had a glossy look at every chance he got, and then he. Side note, I definitely what was the girl's name? The white girl.
Sonya.
Sonya was like my second favorite I liked, and I can't explain why. But I'll get back to that. So Cole, he clearly in one scene he was like, I'm gonna protect my family. I gotta get away from you. And then when he went to go training, it was like, you suck. Get out of here, as Raiden in my very Asian accent. You suck. Get out of here, man. And he was like, all right. Teleport me back to my family where I was trying to protect them from, and then you immediately bring one of the strongest creatures in Mortal Kombat to him.
Goro looked cool.
And Goro looked cool. And that was a lackluster fight, in my opinion.
A little bit.
In that fight, he got his butt whooped, Cole, and then his family was threatened, and that's when he got his power.
Right.
Do you realize in that whole scene where his family was just sitting in the doorway, while he's getting his butt whooped, they could have run him over with the truck, right? But first, when he got his butt whooped and he was about to get killed, Goro was about to rip him apart. Wife came over with the axe, chopped him, and they're both like, "Let me just go jump in this car." What would you do when you jump in the car? Would you pull in the direction of the creature that destroyed half of that house?
Facing him.
Turn the vehicle. Go that way. What did you think was going to happen?
I don't know.
He then mollywopped that truck, bro. Those scenes, God, that I would have to say. And then Cole breaks free, and he gets his armor, and he's able to whoop Goro's butt, and then immediately gets teleported back because Raiden knows.
Yeah.
Guys, go watch a movie.
It was entertaining.
It's entertaining.
Not great, but
entertaining.
For me, it's just like, okay, as corny as everything was, you got to see some cool fight scenes every 15 minutes. So you can sit through it. If you don't want to pay attention, don't. And then once you hear battle action, just look up and enjoy a fight scene for the next 5 minutes. And then
flawless. Yeah. So the one line that I did get over here, I'm happy that I heard. Yeah. I could have swore Sub-Zero had one too. I could have swore.
No.
Okay.
No, I don't think Sub-Zero has one.
Okay. Well.
So, but it ends up with, so I guess the character who plays Sub-Zero, he signed on for 4 movies, if, it gets there. Obviously, they gear it up for a sequel with Johnny Cage, who I think if you cast right can be a great character.
Ryan Reynolds.
He would play it well.
He would
play it well.
Because
it's like basically like Deadpool without the ugly mask. That's basically what Johnny Cage is.
Yeah. Oh my God. I am just. We need someone to be a good Johnny Cage. That's all I need.
And it would be nice to see like them actually kind of what you were alluding to is just like do an actual tournament. Make it like involve a little bit more than just, Outworld and Earth. Like there's other.
And just make it a little bit more sense than like, oh, they don't want a tournament? We'll teleport you wherever you need to be. You could teleport people in the beginning. Why didn't you teleport them out when they first came to the building? And then this wouldn't have... Oh, bro. I'm like, you... Yeah. So I just need less loopholes out of a mythical movie that doesn't make sense.
Based off a video game.
Based off a video game.
Alrighty.
I love Cabal, by the way. All right.
Cabal's one of my favorite characters.
Yeah, in the video game for sure. And then how they portrayed him in there, I'm like, all right.
Yeah. Could have been a little bit better, but
I like his fighting. I'll take that.
He's fast and he has these fucking hooks and he just looks really cool.
Yeah.
like the mask and
So-
Iron Lung and all that.
So,
Stuff.
Cabal and I forget the dude that's in all yellow, not Scorpion, but it's like the robot dude.
Smoke.
No, that's the blue one. Or no, that's a gray one.
Vector.
What are you saying?
Cyborg.
The Psy something. But he's right.
Oh, red is Vector, right?
Yeah. I like the yellow version of that.
They have the great thing is they have a lot of characters, and a lot of the characters have really cool storylines. So
Right.
like you can do a lot with it. I would love if they did some sort of Katana, Melina, Shao Kahn, and Sindel storyline, because Sindel's my favorite character out of all of them. But like Melina and Katana have a really cool relationship. So, but Melina's dead.
Yeah, Melina is dead.
Bye.
A very aggressive look from
Yeah.
our audience about the Mortal Kombat
Yeah.
characters. Jeez. Who would have thought?
So anywho,
All right.
that was Mortal
next-
Kombat.
next
How many
thing.
how many woos?
I give it a boo.
A boo-boo?
A boo. I give it. I'll give it 2 out of 5, man.
2 out of 5. I guess I would probably do like, I'm gonna do out of 10 because I'd probably do
okay.
like 6 out of 10 for me.
It'll be like 4.
I guess
I
that's
can't
3
give
out
it
of 5.
half. I can't give it half. And here's even better. I'm gonna go watch the other 2, the first 2 that come out, and just be like, okay, I understand what that is, but the storyline's gonna be better than
Yeah,
the first 2,
maybe
easily.
Maybe the first one.
E-
Annihilation, maybe not. Annihilation's really bad.
So another thing. So we went through the photos of the movie on IMDb of Mortal Kombat and Mortal Kombat 2.
Uh-huh.
In some of the scenes, so Jax is in Mortal Kombat 2, not the first one.
Right.
Annihilation. In the scene where he's fighting, you see his fingers and then like an arm sleeve of the metal thing. So you actually see, so he has fingers and then a metal arm.
He
and
just
you're like,
lost his. They were able to salvage his hand, but not his forearm and
I'm
bicep.
Like, I'm like,
Gotcha.
what? What sort of? How did this make it through? That's the reason why I want to go watch it, to see all of the things and see how the technology has improved. But those scenes where like Johnny Cage is fighting Scorpion, and then Scorpion does that, and it just barely misses him because it has like a set length they can't go. Those are good scenes.
Yeah.
And so I'm excited to go back and look at those. But overall, I know it's gonna be a treasure.
90s.
90s,
Good
baby.
stuff. All right. Well, that was Mortal Kombat.
Yep. And,
You can watch it in theaters, or you can watch it on HBO
yeah.
for the next month.
Or you can come to Keith's mansion and watch it in theater house.
Shut up. All right. On to the next topic.
Yeah.
Do you want to do Captain or you want to do the Nevers?
Let's do Captain.
All right. Final episode.
Final episode.
How'd you feel?
I wanted more.
More episodes?
I definitely do. I enjoyed this thoroughly.
Yeah.
It was. At some points you kind of felt like they could have did more, but I really enjoyed it. He had an amazing speech at the end.
Yeah.
And the only thing I would say that's not realistic is them standing around to be berated. Because if you're talking bad down to basically rich old people, they're like, I can kill you. I don't need to.
They were
listen
on
to
camera,
you.
though.
Yeah, they are on camera, but that still wouldn't stop someone from walking away from being berated by a superhero, so to speak. But I enjoyed it thoroughly, and I feel like it's setting up something pretty good. That suit was atrocious. Because I can't picture Wakandans being like, you know what's gonna look good on a brother?
A lot of white.
A red, white, and blue. No. We know it's a joke, but they don't. We're gonna put it on them. Like, you know that.
Well, I mean, it had to fit a certain aesthetic.
It could have been all black and purple.
No, it couldn't have.
Yeah, it could have.
No, not for Captain America.
Wakandans, brother on brother. Right, Stottle?
Couldn't have been.
He's agreeing for once. He nodded the right way, guys.
Again, he just wants you to shut up.
I don't care. He agreed. Look, all right. So I liked it. The last episode. What did you like?
I will say I was like teary-eyed from his speech to the very end of that episode. So like the last 15 minutes between the speech and then him going to the old black guy's house and then him like actually putting him in like
That felt good.
as like a statue. Bucky kind of. The only thing that like I thought I was going to be more impacted by Bucky's interaction with the older Asian guy and like making retribution with that, but I felt like they kind of glossed over it pretty quickly.
I think they
And
glossed
maybe they
over
just
it.
didn't want it to be like super heavy like on every aspect, but I don't know. I remember at the beginning like kind of being like, "Oh, that's going to suck whenever they show him actually doing it." And it really wasn't that bad.
I understand them trying to wrap it up, and they probably cut it short to not diminish what
Captain had said.
Yeah, the captain had said.
All the racial stuff.
Yeah, and
Yep.
I feel that, but so me being black, it's like I feel what he was saying, Captain, but him going to go confront his son, I'm like, that one hurt me a little bit more than the actual racial stuff, because the racial stuff I got to deal with on a daily basis.
Sure.
So when he's saying all that stuff, I'm like, yeah, we get it.
Wrap it up.
Wrap it up, brother.
Been here, done that.
Yeah, they ain't gonna listen to you. They gonna go and be rich again, and then talk down to their servants.
Right.
So, but all in all, it was very fulfilling. But when Bucky did that, like, that hurt, because then he walked by the restaurant knowing he can't go back in there
Right.
anymore. And think if you killed someone and you really enjoyed that restaurant, you couldn't go back there.
I mean, no, I could. Like, you're telling me that if you killed someone and you couldn't, you would stop going to rehab.
So
You could stop going to rehab, Hev?
So hold on. To put in this perspective, like, so growing up, I have anxiety about running into people that I have either treated weirdly, or I might be a villain in their story, or that have hurt me.
Okay.
So there's the other situation. So growing up, I avoided the whole entire city of Gilbert just so I wouldn't run into an ex.
Honestly, not a bad city to just avoid.
Honestly, so there was literally, so baseline in Gilbert, so right there when you get off the 60, I would go around it if I could.
Just in case, like, his car pulled up next to you.
It was a girl.
Okay.
And
It's always a toss up with you.
yeah, that's fair. But no, but I would avoid that just because, like, what if they pull up next to me in the most ridiculous thing ever? And I also used to work out off of, I think it's a little bit, I think it was like Val Vista or the next one out there. And I was always afraid that what if they come to my restaurant when I was working out there?
Have you been back to Gilbert since?
Yeah, I'm an adult now.
Yeah.
I'm an adult.
Oh, good
I
for
don't
you.
go often, but I go.
I realize that the likelihood of me running into this person, or does she not live there anymore?
She
Is that
probably
why you
still
go?
does. I don't know. I honestly don't know. But she used to work at a strip of restaurants, and I still avoid those. And I don't want to risk it, because what if she's at any of them at the same time that I am at the
You just act like you don't even know who she is. Even if she comes up and be like, who?
I mean, I took her virginity.
You did what? With who? I'm sorry, who? Can I have my check?
That's fair. But no, so I'm very awkward about stuff like
Okay.
that. So I would not be
Okay,
able
so you wouldn't.
I wouldn't be able to do it in the beginning, where he was trying to make amends in the beginning. And
Even though he didn't know.
He knew. In the beginning. He knew that was his kid.
No, I'm talking about even though you wouldn't have been able to go even though the guy didn't know.
Yeah. No,
not
because
even that.
you're related to the person that I did something wrong to.
Ah.
So, like,
How many generations removed would it take for you to like a
same amount
second cousin? Would that be okay?
the same amount of generations it took for in Mortal Kombat for that to get passed down from Scorpion to Cole.
I think it was 9.
Yeah, 9.
Okay.
I
9
need to be
generations.
alive 400 years,
Okay.
and then I'll be okay to be coming down. And then they're like, "Hey, did you know my great 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 great?" And I'm like, "Ugh," and I die immediately.
Just
on
like
the spot.
awkwardly
Yeah,
fart. And like,
I'm sweating right now thinking about it. I don't like it.
all right.
I don't like it at all.
That's me playing that video game. God damn it. We'll edit this out.
It
Okay,
was
sucked.
Hello Kitty.
Resident Evil.
Hello
Damn it.
Kitty Resident Island.
I'm trying to think. So I think.
Did you expect Carly to die?
Yeah,
I didn't think she was gonna die.
she was the villain.
I understand she was the villain, but I didn't think she was gonna die. I think we both called Power Broker
Yep.
earlier, being what's her face.
Yep. Yeah,
I
it was
think she
obvious.
was going to be caught. Yeah.
I thought there was going to be a little bit more with that.
Yeah.
But there wasn't. They just kind of mentioned it in past. Like I thought, like because Carly and her were talking at one point, and then I think Sam walked in, and I was thinking like, oh, maybe he's gonna overhear it, or Carly was gonna
Right.
out her, and then there was
Right.
gonna be like a little bit of drama there, but there wasn't. And then so I was just like, okay, well, I guess maybe it's not that big of a deal in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah.
It was nice to see the old Captain America kind of have a little change of heart,
Yeah. I didn't
join
like, I
forces,
didn't
do
like
it.
it
But
though.
now he's obviously there's going to be a little. He's now the agent,
For Hydra.
so he's with Julia
Val.
which don't call her that.
Gotcha. Roger.
So obviously that plot line. I just thought that overall, like the past two Marvel shows have been great, and I think the creators of that have done a really good job. I think, you know, them. I think Captain America and Bucky. They. I mean, ever since the first Captain America, they've had a pretty cool storyline, and it seems like they've always known what they wanted to do with those characters. So it'll be interesting to see how it progresses. It was nice to see, like, I really liked that, like, instead of Sam looking for anyone to validate him as Captain America, he's like, nah, I'm Captain America. And then, like, even, like, just like a bystander was just like, oh, no, that's Captain America. And he's like, no, that's Black Falcon.
Dude, so at that scene at the end, I saw those two black guys. I'm like, they better not. And it was both the black guys sounding as white as possible. So basically what me and Stottle sound like. And it was like, oh my God, it's Black Falcon.
Fangirling.
No. It's Captain America. And I'm like, get the white people to say that, man. We get what you're trying to do with the race. Oh, God, I called it. But
They're just missing, like, some stereotypical.
if they had do-rags
Yeah,
on,
yeah.
if
I'm
they
like, hey, man, you want some chicken? Like, what? Why are we doing this here? Like, well, come on.
I'm full off malt liquor, bro. Like, I can't have that right now. Bro, I was just like, you had to have black
Damn it.
people say that? Man. Oh, man. But
Trying a little hard in that aspect.
But here's the thing. We can laugh about it right now because... So those are like subtle nuances you notice as being like that race. God, I just saw a podcast with Damon Wayans, the young Damon. I can't remember if that's his correct name or not. But he was talking about how he notices things as a black man, and he being an actor, how they film differently or how they do cutscenes. And I'm like, wow, when you're being filmed,
Like as a white director versus a black director sort of thing.
And
Okay.
how they were cutting from him to another so they would do a film. Excuse me. So they would do a reaction. So they would film him and then cut to a black member to see their reaction instead of a white. Like he's just like, huh. And he noticed that, and then I went back and I started like looking, and I'm just like,
Oh yeah.
So when I saw that on Captain, I'm like, y'all better not. And
It's like them secretly trying to be like, okay, this is based off of this random black character's reaction. This is how you're supposed to take. Just in case I'm racist in what I'm saying, you're supposed to take it as a joke.
Let me see your phone. This is what's worth. No, you can leave it unlocked. So it was just literally like he was like this too. No, that's Captain America. Like he was filming like this. No, that's Captain America right there. Like, bro, like where is your? What do you? Come on. So yeah, I enjoyed the show. I can't wait for the next one. Loki next month.
Loki next month, yeah.
Yep.
Thanks.
I'm high key waiting for that.
There you go.
Right? Stop. Hey, that one he wanted me to shut up. No,
yeah.
that was a shut up. That one definitely was. Yeah. But okay. All right, next one.
Yeah. We got episode 2 of The Nevers.
Nevers.
We got episode 3 coming out tonight, Sunday.
Oh shit, it's Sunday. Yeah, definitely.
But episode 2, we let's see, we got started off with there was this Italian girl. She's working in like
Bloomingdale's.
Kohl's, yeah, of that time. And she ends up being one of the touched. Anything that she touched just starts like floating, and then once it gets touched again, then it resumes its weight and it just like crashes. She is like trying to find the orphanage that the True and the other girl. I always forget her name.
We pulled it up.
Oh yeah, you're right. Anyways, the orphanage.
Yeah.
And she ends up getting abducted by the surgeon dude.
Yep.
Meanwhile, we have Adair. There, that's the inventor chick. She has to go to Bidlow, who's the benefactor for the orphanage, the one that like put it all together.
Mm-hmm.
They are all going to her house to basically just be put on display for all these rich people, aristocrats of the time.
To get support.
Because they have to
And
put the touched have to be looked at in a better light since the incident of the opera house in the first episode.
Mm-hmm.
So Adair and a few of the people at the orphanage, they all go there and they're taking pictures and showing off their turns and all that sort of stuff. And Adair goes and talks to the Bidlow's Augie, I think his name was. And then the guests are noticing that they're talking and cozying up and being flirtatious.
And you can't talk to the touched.
You can't.
Mm-hmm.
So then, Mama Bidlow is like, nah, like, don't do that. You can't talk to her anymore. But we find out that he is also touched himself.
He's an anamorph, we discussed.
Yeah, he's Bran Stark, basically, and he can put himself in a bird's body and fly around and shit.
Yeah.
And that's why is that, like, just always a power?
What do you mean?
It was in Game of Thrones. It's in this.
Name one more.
Well, I mean, okay.
Name one more where that's in, like, a special power.
By always, I mean in 2 shows.
Okay.
Both on HBO.
Okay, so you can say...
Within the past 3 years.
Okay, Game of Thrones has been going on for longer than
Yeah, but Bran was in the last season.
Bran has been in every season.
But when did you find out that he could start doing that? That was like season 3, season 4?
Something like that, yeah.
But anyways, 2 of the most recent HBO shows.
So they need writers to develop special powers, is what you're saying.
Come up with something. I mean,
To
obviously
be fair,
there's a reason.
To be fair, they did take up a lot of their writing prowess to get someone who could create inventions and then also be a tall bitch. That was 2 of their special powers.
Tall.
Yeah, like, hey, you can talk? Cool.
Mm-hmm.
You can read and speak other languages and only understand English, I think. Is that what your skill set? Cool.
You understand English, but you can talk in all these other languages.
Yeah,
but you can't talk in English.
Yeah.
It's very weird.
It sounds like the Rick and Morty writers who came up. She's really, really tall. They give her a very high voice. She has knives for fingers.
Lady Deathstrike from X-Men.
Yes.
She had the claws.
This one can only hop like a dog and talk to Prince Akeem. This one, I don't know. That's it.
So she gets butthurt, Adair.
Yes.
Right? And she storms off in her little 3-wheeled car. And she ends up getting kidnapped as well.
That's what happens when you storm off. You learned in the first few minutes of this episode, and then slowly after.
You leave parties early, Hev.
You leave parties early.
You get abducted. Yeah, 8:54 exactly.
But if you stay,
you miss out on the racist altercations.
Yep. Good thing I'm not a hood rat.
Jesus. Oh, he's laughing at that one. His body's shaking.
Yeah, he is shaking.
Yeah.
Maybe it's shaking because he's skinny and hungry.
Oh no, I brought him food.
French fries.
I did. And nugs.
All right. Get back
so then, on the other side of the coin, we have Adair. and True, and she is she meets up with well, the orphanage gets ransacked by the cops because they think that they have something to do with what happened at the opera house. Adair then or True comes across a prostitute whose turn is when you're around her, you end up just telling the truth. So she takes her down to the police station, starts talking with the main police detective dude, and then he ends up revealing that he was engaged to marry the chick from the first episode that got abducted. So then they start working together, and she ends up finding out where Malady is stationed through one of her little foreshadowing things, visions. And when she goes there, her and Malady have a little scuffle. And she basically has an ultimatum: save Mary, the girl who can find other turned people, or save Adair,
Her best friend.
And she ends up shooting herself.
Honestly, not a bad pick.
No.
Be like, you know what? I don't want to be in this season anymore.
Bye. And then at the very end of the episode, we find out that Bidlow, the benefactor for the orphanage, is the one that has paired up with the evil scientist doctor dude, and they are mining, and they found, it looked like what that ship was that came in the first episode.
Sparkly stuff.
So she obviously appears to be probably the overarching antagonist in the whole show, but what her reasons are and why, we don't know yet.
I bet she's trying to walk again.
How do you feel about the show so far? You got 2 episodes.
It's funnier than I thought it would be, and I enjoy that factor about it. I'm waiting to see a sex scene with the touched and whoever is having sex with them. That's going to be my next thing that I'm looking forward to.
Right at the club.
Yeah.
That's being opened, the gentleman's club.
Yeah. It's interesting.
The sex has got to be good, right?
It has to be. There should be like one of someone's touched abilities just have the best orgasm you possibly
Just
could.
the wettest.
The wettest finish.
Vagina.
The wettest orifice you could ever perceive.
That's your talent.
How do you figure that out? Like, how do you figure that's your touchdown? All right. No, I'm waiting for that. No, but overall, it's pretty good. With it week by week, your mind kind of keeps trying to develop about what's going to be next and how they're going to do it. I feel like that ending of how you chose between one or the other, and then they still somehow got away. I'm just like, y'all could have got away with something else.
Someone should have died.
Yeah, someone should have died. And I then just like, okay, I get this, but that could have been done a little bit differently. But I'm interested.
Yeah.
So I can't be upset.
It seems like it. I think I mentioned this last episode, but it's very Game of Thronesy, where it's like you have a whole bunch of characters and they have a whole lot of side plots going on,
Right.
Which is fine, but it's hard to get into those shows and kind of see what like you have to kind of stick with them in order to see how they all intertwine with one another. But I think so far they're doing a good job. I think the humor is like strategically placed throughout.
Take note, Mortal Kombat.
I would like to see a little bit more like action or use of their turns.
Okay.
I feel like it's been a little, maybe they're gearing up to it, but it's like even in the fights, it doesn't seem like you're doing a whole lot. But also at the same time, it doesn't really seem like they're going like the superhero kind of route. So they're just using it in the way that they normally, you would use it on a day-to-day basis. So I don't know. I like it. It's promising. I think that episode 3 will come out tonight, obviously, and we'll review it next week. And then we'll also review Shadow and Bone, which is a new series that's on Netflix that just got released. Has a similar-ish vibe to Game of Thrones.
Yep.
Obviously, it's different in many aspects, but that's kind of where it's at in the realm of things. So,
Yeah.
good input.
Yeah, you said that's what we're going to talk about.
Yeah.
I'm agreeing with you.
Oh, yeah. No, I appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem. Well, that's been another episode of Bed by 9.
BB9.
Thank you guys, and we'll see you next week.
Adios.
Bye.
Bye.